can you protect siblings from sleep disturbances? This comes up all the time when I work with families and the parents need to help one child get their sleep sorted, but any attempts at that often lead to disruption to another child, perhaps a young school-age child, where the parents are really protective, understandably, of that child's sleep. It can sometimes sabotage your attempts or actually cause you to go rushing in and sabotage your other child's attempts at settling to sleep, because you're just desperate to keep it quiet, you know, don't let anyone else wake up. And I'm sure loads of you can relate to that. We've all been there. If you have more than one child, especially if it's twins, maybe if they're room sharing as well, there is that tendency of quickly swoop in, sort this one out so that one doesn't wake up. The trouble with that, and as most of the parents that report this to me already know, is by fixing the disturbed child very quickly, you know, almost like shushing them and making it stop, you're not actually helping them learn or develop anything so that can go. You know, it will keep happening, and it keeps happening because they're not actually learning a solution or learning an alternative way of working through that. So people feel like they're in a bit of a catch-22 because they think, well, I can't do anything about it because if I resist, you know, giving into their every wild request, I'm thinking of the toddlers that ask for all kinds of crazy things, if I say no to anything they request, they're going to cry and it's going to wake the other child. That just puts you in a really difficult position because then you are literally at the whim of that child. Anything they ask for, you're going to give them, and how does that really set up a good dynamic going forward? We don't want to teach our children that you are there as a slave to them to give them everything they request, no matter how crazy or wild. So, yeah, as you know, I'm a huge advocate of responding to children and supporting them and soothing them and reassuring them and making sure that they feel safe and loved and secure. So I'm not suggesting that you don't meet their needs. Absolutely meet their needs, but sometimes we can't meet every single want. The wants aren't always the best thing for the child, and we know that. The child doesn't know that, and that's where your role as a parent is very important, to guide them. So how do you do that when it's has the waking of a sibling at stake? Well, you can protect the other child as best you can from any noise or any disturbance. So ways you can do that, you'll be surprised initially, the first stretch of sleep in the night, the good sort of 3 or 4 hours, you'll probably find that I'm thinking probably older child, the other sleeping sibling, is less likely to be disturbed. They can sleep through a lot of noises, alarms, all kinds of things can go off, and they barely flinch in those first few hours because that's when they go into their very deepest state of sleep for the night. Later in the night, yeah, they're more likely to hear a noise and wake up, especially the closer you get to morning, and that's probably right when you really don't want them waking up because you know there's no chance they're going to go back to sleep. So white noise can help. I mean, that's, for some that works a treat, for others it doesn't, but it's an option. You can get white noise machines or something that just dampens out the sound. But the real solution here is having a plan for how you're going to handle the child who's having sleep challenges. Know what you're going to do, and just know that for a short stint there may be disturbances, and just accept it. Rather than trying to fight it, just accept it and say there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 nights where the other child may be woken up. And just once you know that and you've planned for that, you also know that it's not day in, day out for as long as you can see, because you've got a plan, you've got a process, you know what you're going to do, and you know that it's only for a short time. Once you know that, you can even speak to the other child, let them know, maybe pick a time, school holidays or a weekend, a time when maybe there's another parent present so that they can let the other child know it's okay, everything's all right, and you know, maybe sit with them and help them, distract them and soothe them back off to sleep. Just let the child know that it's just going to be a few days because your sister or your brother is just learning a bit about how to settle to sleep. And then you know it's only short term, you know it's only a few days, and you know that it's short-term pain, long-term gain, everyone's going to be sleeping better. And I think that's really the key. There's no magic way to go, oh yes, well it will just all be peaceful and quiet. Sometimes there is a disruption. Sometimes, and that can happen anyway. I mean, let's face it doesn't have to be around sleep training. It could be that one child's poorly and crying out because they feel unwell, or there can be all kinds of disturbances, let's face it. But if this is something you are conscious of and you think, well, I know I go rushing in too quickly, or I really do give in to some wild requests of one child purely to keep them quiet and stop them disturbing another child, if you know that's you and you know that it's not helping things long term, then a plan. That's what you need first, a plan, a strategy. Know where you are now, where you want to be, and the process to get there. Once you can see that, then you'll know that you've got a short stint of a few nights where there may be a bit of a noise, where the child you're helping is expressing a bit of frustration, that's all. And that doesn't mean leaving them to cry. So I don't know what that plan will look like for you. It would be different for everybody. But let's say the plan means that you're going to sit with your child, going to help them settle and calm and soothe off to sleep. But perhaps they decide they want I don't know, a banana, something unacceptable at that time of night, and you say no, and they go, no, that's not fair, and maybe they have a little bit of a cry, but you're going to stand firm and you're not going to cave, and you're going to, soothe them, reassure them, stay present, stay calm until they realise that you mean what you said, and then they go, okay, fair enough, and they calm down. It's just one example of what it could look like. It could just be a frustration and a crying or a cry out of, I want to go to sleep and I don't know how, which is what you get quite a lot from babies between sort of 6 months and probably closer to 15, 16 months before they start to communicate more of what they want or what they're feeling. You do just sometimes get general yelling, and that's their way of saying, I really want to go to sleep, do it for me. And of course, you can't do it for them forever. You need to help them do it with your help, but they need to actually develop and work on that skill. So whatever that plan looks like for you, and that's something I can absolutely help any number of people with. If you have questions around that, then do get in touch. But once you have that plan and you have that strategy and you know how long it looks like, then choose an ideal time and when you can best protect the other child or the other children in the family. Let them know there may be a little bit of a noise and not to worry. And do you know what? You'll be amazed. The chances are they probably won't flinch. They probably won't bat an eyelid. That siblings can be very resilient of each other's noise, and parents of twins will probably have experienced that too. They really can be resilient. They get used to it and they just know. So try not to worry too much, don't overcompensate, and don't think, oh, quick, must make this child quiet to protect the other one. It's okay, and there is a way.